Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Kaipa was the leading Scandinavian progressive band in the 70s and recorded 5 albums during the years 1975 through 82. Their albums contain mostly instrumental music, drawing its influences from such classic prog rock bands as Camel, yes, and Genesis, and of course, classical music of Bach. Taking a basic inspiration from Swedish folk music, they performed an elaborate symphonic aiming at the expression of emotion and feelings in an aesthetic of formal beauty and melodic perfection. Initially, the project of keyboardist Hans Lundin and bassist Tomas Eriksson, the band soon grew to include drummer Ingemar Bergman and singer-guitarist Roine Stolt, the latter of whom would eventually go on, of course, to form the Flower Kings. 20 years passed before Lundin and Stolt reformed a new edition of Kaipa, producing their 6th studio album, 2002's Notes from the Past. While the group's first 5 albums were sung entirely in Swedish, Notes from the Past was notably for launching their English language phase, which continued on each subsequent release. Although Stolt again departed, leaving Lundin to captain the band through its next decade, which produced a prolific 4 LPs. Kaipa has remained a staple of the Inside Out music label. And now in 2024, Kaipa is back. In the summer of 1964, Hans Lundin's musical career started when he became a member of his first band as an organist and singer. He says that the following years were the best education I could ever get. 9 years later, in 73, formed the group Kaipa. Now, 60 years into his career, he and his current bandmates, Per Nielsen, Jonas Reingold, Darby Todd, Patrick Lundstrom, and Aleena Gibson are proud to announce the release of Kaipa's 15th studio album. And Aleena, what is that album called?
Sommargryningsljus.
Thank you. Or Summer Dawn Light.
Yes.
The dawn theme has always been very close to Hans's heart in his songwriting. With the new album, he closes the circle and returns where it all begins. The new release via Inside Out Music will be released June 28th this year. The band recently released their 2nd single from the new album called Revelation View. Please welcome Swedish singer, songwriter for the legendary progressive rock group Kaipa, Aleena Gibson, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Aleena.
Hi, thank you so much. That was a great bio.
I just hope I didn't screw up the names too much.
It's all right.
It's not easy, you know. Scandinavian names are very tough. They're long, you know.
I know. Especially like we have a lot of R's, like rolling R's, like rrr, you know.
Yep.
So it's difficult for Americans.
I have interviewed a lot of Swedish bands. One was Jonas Lindberg. Anecdoten, which, great bands. Of course, the Flower Kings and Moon Safari not that long ago. You got some great music coming from Sweden. You really do.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know if I can accept the honor, but I agree with you that there is a lot of great music in Sweden.
Excellent musicians coming from Sweden.
Yeah.
I want to chat about the new album. Okay. It's incredible. I love it. And
of course, I'm so glad to hear that.
Of course, I love your voice. That's what attracted me to the music. I think I first heard you guys probably one of the 2 singles you released. It was on, I think, Moral.com, the station from France.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a sucker for women that sing prog.
Thank you so much.
I'm friends with Annie Haslam. And, many of the women from the prog world. And, you guys just nail it when you sing prog. But there's something.
Thank you so much.
But there's something else we're going to talk about, and that's your solo career, which I am very impressed. Okay, we'll get to that later. What I want to say about the new album, it's got elements of symphonic, cinematic, prog rock. It's sometimes Disney-like, very fairy tale-like, fantasy, theatric. It's got beautiful lyrics, and of course, prog veterans. I gave it 5 stars.
Oh, thank you.
It's an incredible album. The explanation, I guess, of the album, it contains 8 tracks portraying a nocturnal journal from dusk until dawn, with the first 2 tracks representing twilight and the closing 2 indicating dawn. This nighttime odyssey can be seen as a metaphor for the state between death and rebirth, or an allegory of life told in reverse. Almost sounds like a kind of a lyrics from a Moody Blues album in a way, you know?
Yeah. I think the album is, this is actually my favorite album as well. I agree with, it's really good descriptions that you give, because it has everything from everything almost, and I am a very big fan of Queen, which is like this is where I found my music love, is actually Freddie Mercury. And I think that some of the stuff that we do is very Queen-like in the album. Me and Patrick's voices and the harmonies and stuff that we do, it's really well arranged, I think, by Hans. He is, he is the main guy on all the compositions and arrangements and productions. And Hans is he's brilliant, and I am very happy to be a part of this. Also, to be able to see his productiveness. He gets the album after album done, and he doesn't give up. He doesn't give up on music and creating music. And he also shows that it's possible to release music and continue to release music in this world, which is, it's not, you don't hear that so often. Somebody releasing almost an album, almost a year,
Exactly. One thing about the lockdown, it brought down so many incredible lyrics from musicians. It's almost like, when you're in war, like the Vietnam War, a lot of music came out of that, so I guess there's some positive sides to things happening like that. Some from, bad things.
Yeah.
Good things can happen from bad things,
It's interesting because the lockdown, sorry, I was just going to say something about that too, that the thing is with Hans is that he's not so connected to like the busy world and the internet, and he doesn't really care about that. He actually composes music, for the soul. But he has this beautiful house in the middle of in Uppsala in Sweden, and a beautiful garden with lots of fruit trees. And always when we go there, we have coffee in the garden, and it's like deep conversations. And Hans is a really cool guy, and yeah, I'm very happy to be a part of this Kaipa project.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to mention the band name that actually came. I read this in an interview that Hans did. It was actually called Kaipa originally, I think, and it was referred from Swedish Stone Age chieftain, and it actually came from a book. Did you know that?
No, this is more than I know.
And I can't pronounce the book, of course. It was a book by Werner von Heidenstam. So they shortened the name to Kappa, but it was originally Kappa. Ura.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ura? Yeah, Ura Kappa.
I kind of recognize this, but I don't have all the history. But I like the name a lot. I think Kaipa is really nice. I didn't know it was coming from there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And he also said in that interview that 90% of the followers of the band are actually outside of Sweden.
Yeah, I know. Hans has told me many anecdotes, like from I think it was the 70s there, where, the progressive music, they were basically like in Sweden in the 70s, like radio would not play ABBA, for example.
Right.
They would like say, no, that is capitalistic, very like funny, right? It's like
It
one of the
is. It's
biggest bands in
crazy.
the world,
Yeah.
and Sweden boycotted it, Swedish radio in the beginning when they came out.
Is that right? Really?
Yeah, they
Huh.
would only play. Well, you know what? You can't take me as the. But you know the stories that Hans said.
Hmm.
You know, you weren't actually allowed to sing about certain things and stuff. It was like communistic, you know, like
Oh,
Russian, you know,
yes.
vibes. Maybe I'm saying,
Interesting. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
trying to explain this, but it's like so on. I mean, I've never grown up in this kind of situation, you know, where
Right.
music would be, you're not allowed to sing certain things or play,
Hmm.
but we're very free. We're very lucky to be so free, you know. We're having a free expression in music, you know, still. So we have to like,
Exactly.
you know, preserve it and make sure that we protect the, you know, like the freedom of speech. You know, I love the American,
Hmm.
you know, like the ways and this is like the land of the free. I believe in that, you know, and
Yeah.
but I mean, Sweden isn't like that now, but I mean, the 70s,
Hmm.
it was a little bit like that, I've
Oh.
heard.
Well, one of my favorite women of all time has come from Sweden. That was Anne Margaret.
Oh,
I was in love with her. I actually got to meet her too over here in Florida.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, and she spoke fluent Swede. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The album, like I said, is incredible. You and Patrick sing very well together. You mesh very
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
I believe I think so too. Actually, we when we started working, it was for
Hmm.
my solo career. That's how we
Right.
started with me and Patrick.
Really.
And yeah, and he was my first producer, and we, you know, it's really a jungle with the record label stuff and record companies. And when you're a young artist who's like coming, you know, with your new music, you're so
Yeah.
lost. You don't understand. Well, nowadays the schools in Sweden, there's a lot of music education now, and they
Good.
teach kids a lot of, you know, rules and legal stuff, and record companies don't have the same type of power that they used to have. They were such a monopoly,
They
and
were.
so but I remember me and Patrick, we met, and it was like an instant chemistry,
Hmm.
instant. And he basically loved everything I did, and I was just
Hmm.
so, you know, acknowledged by him, and he brought me like to life as a musician and a songwriter. Like he was, you know, it's like you can have a talent, but if you don't find that person, like the person who helps you like believe in yourself, you know,
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I think a lot of people lacks that when they start out with music, and then their insecurity takes over. So I was really lucky to meet Patrick, who was so, you know, enthusiastic about my music. You know, I didn't think so myself, that like, oh, I was singing my little songs with my guitar, and he was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, this is amazing. And then let's go to the studio
Yeah.
and record. And I was like, I remember having the demos, like my first demos,
Right.
my six first song, listening to them alone in my apartment and just crying from happiness that I had music to listen to. So that is something that I feel very lucky to have, people that, you know, saw me.
Aleena, she was right. I mean, he was right. Patrick's right about your music. Let me tell you, I'm very disappointed you're not a big star right now. And I
Oh
mean
my,
that.
thank you, Ray. Me
Aleena's
too. No.
Cafe, Aleena's Cafe album is incredible. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
People like Taylor Swift is nothing compared to what you've done there. You know,
Big words, Ray.
this album should be all over the radio. If only radio was like it used to be. You know, it's very commercial. I didn't want to bring this up till later, but I can't. I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
I know what a hit is. And
Wow.
first of all, you should go to Nashville. You should
I
hang
love
out with those guys. You should, because I guarantee, because you got a little bit of a country thing going on there in some of your music, you know, from the solo stuff.
Yeah.
And the album is unbelievable. I mean, you know, Love Is, that's a top 40 hit, you know.
Thank you.
Hello Warrior, Butt Naked, which is a really cool song, you know, great
Thank
lyrics.
you. Yeah, they
Oh
were
my
specifically
gosh.
actually, they were about a specific person, actually, the Butt Naked song.
Right.
And it's like, one of those people in the industry that actually really didn't want me to succeed
Really?
because
Is
he
that
couldn't
right?
get, yeah.
Boy,
Like I
he's
couldn't be myself, because he
well,
didn't
he's
think I was,
wrong.
thank you. Yeah.
I'm serious. This is a fantastic album. Natural Power, it had a country flair. I hear a little bit of like a Lisa Loeb sound in that
Hmm.
song, but yours is better than Lisa Loeb. You
Wow,
know,
thank you. Oh my God,
it's a
thank you so much.
fantastic album. Starting over. I mean, I fell in love with this album. I really did. And then you started out also kind of like electronic music. Is that you? Like
No, that's not
no?
me. Somebody's like hijacked my
Oh,
name and
somebody.
picture.
Okay, like Animal wasn't you. That song
No.
Animal. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say,
I don't
man,
know.
this goes way back.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, the electronic stuff at that time, no.
There's
That's
a
not
couple
me.
of there's a couple of electronic songs, from way back when, and I said, man,
Really?
because the hair was different, it was like different colors, and so
Wow.
that what are you sure
Well,
that wasn't
fine.
you?
I'm happy to loan my name to good
Okay,
music.
okay, all right,
But
but
I have another album that maybe you didn't see. That is a duet album with the Anderson and Gibson.
because it's kind of hard to find your stuff. You know what I mean? You really got to
You,
dig.
thank you for telling me that, because the record company who was responsible for the release and the promotion of that, Aleena Gibson, I don't know if they
They didn't
ever
do a good job. I'm telling you.
pushed it so much. Maybe I'll get a, maybe people will find it now because of you. So thank you so much, Ray.
I'm going to promote it on all my websites.
Oh, you're the best.
I've got. Are you kidding me? I'm going to put the link to the YouTube. It's fantastic. It
Well,
really is.
maybe like that is so nice of you. Thank you so much.
It's very, very professional. Who helped you with that? Who produced that album?
Well, there was a guy called Tobias Pettersson.
Okay.
Tobbe Pettersson.
Well, he
Yeah,
did a
he
great
was the
job.
guy. We produced it together.
Right.
Yeah, we were like in the studio doing it like the real way, and we came up with all the like a solo, and we worked on it like very close, and I loved it, and I'm very happy with that album. That's my first solo album,
It's
and
amazing.
thank you so much. Thank you
You got
so
you got
much.
to do more of that. You got to do
You're
more. I'm
inspiring
telling
me
you.
so much. I have another album coming. I
Right.
have it's basically an EP because it's only
It's all
like
right.
6 songs, but I'll send it to you
Okay.
before, like, see what you think, and see which songs you like the best, and get your input.
I know some people in Nashville.
Great.
Maybe I'll pass
I
it
love
around.
Nashville. Yeah, Nashville is a beautiful place.
It is.
I was there co-writing, and I remember like driving in Nashville and listening to the music on the radio. It's very specific. Like the thing what I love about Nashville is that they take in the songwriters and they
Right.
support the
They do.
songwriters.
They do.
And I felt really seen in Nashville. Although in the beginning, it was 2000 and I don't remember if it was 2003, 4, 5, or something like that. But it was in the beginning of my songwriting career. But there was one time I remember I was working with two little bit older men, but
Right.
great songwriters.
Good.
And here I come from Sweden,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let me into the songwriting. You see, they were like, "Hey, what do you think about that? What do you think
Right.
about this?" And they were like going back and forth on melodies and ideas to themselves. And I think it was because it was maybe awkward that this blonde Swedish girl was sitting there like, "Hey, why am I working with these two giants, basically?"
Right.
But then I remember one of them going to the bathroom or something, and I was like, "What do you think about this?" And then I like gave them the chorus, and he was like, "Oh my God." And then they realized like she can actually write music. But I had to like push into that situation because I think it's just unusual. Like, I don't know, they are men and they're like, from another time, but we did write a song, and it was one of my first most beautiful memories is when I'm I'm on my way from the airport to the airport. I mean, when I'm going back from Nashville, and I'm sitting there driving this rental car, and I was like, I don't want to go, and I started crying. This is my home, you know, like really, honestly, like I loved it. It was like finding a fairy tale
Right.
land for a songwriter, you know.
You've got to do more. I mean, it's beautiful what you're doing with Kappa. And I don't want to take you away from Kappa. I don't want those guys being mad at me, but you do have a solo career in you, you know?
You actually
really do.
re-inspired me a lot by just talking to me like this and telling me that you love it. And that's, you know, because the only reason you do music is, you know, to give it to people and hopefully they like it. And my solo album was always like, you know, because I was on the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see
2003.
that. Yeah.
And this is like the Better Believe It song.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first single from the album. And then after that, you know, because you know, I didn't win, then it was like so quiet. It was almost like the disappointment of the record company or something. And I never heard from them, kind of, you know. So, but I went on to write to people. The thing is also that I was signed to a publisher who just wanted me to write. They didn't want me to be an artist. They wanted me to be a songwriter.
That's a mistake.
Thank you. And then when I had my songs for my own solo album ready, I gave it to him, and he started giving it to other people.
Right.
Like he wouldn't. He said like, no, we don't support you as an artist.
That's wrong. I dumped that guy like immediately.
Dumped him.
Yeah, for sure. No, you need somebody that supports you for who you are. You know.
Thank you.
because that album is so professional. I mean, it ranks up there with all the best, you know, women singers. You know, Sheryl Crow. You know, it's better than Sheryl Crow. You know, but it's incredible. It is. She was
one of my biggest favorites. I listened to everything she did.
Yeah,
I loved her.
Exactly.
I loved Heart. Like I loved. Yep. I mean, I'm inspired by a lot of different music, but also my parents used to listen to Neil Young and Still Nash and Young, and so I love harmonies. I love, you know. So, but the new music I'm coming out with is very folky, very acoustic guitar driven, some rock notes on some of the songs, but I'm also a little bit like modern type of flirting with some vibes from Billie Eilish, and I'll send them to you. I'm really excited to hear what you think about the new stuff.
Yeah, but I love you with the guitar, with the acoustic guitar. There's nothing better, you know. But you know, if you mix it up, that's great, you know. And you're
well, that's how I perform.
Yeah, you get such a great voice too.
Oh, thank you so much.
I just hope I hope somebody discovers you, you know, and
well, you just did. No,
it does the right thing. I really do. And that's why I mentioned Nashville, because a lot of people do get discovered in Nashville, you know, and you got that talent that somebody should, you know, I mean, you got songs there that could be country hits too, you know, other artists could pick some of your songs and also make them hits. So
yeah, I have an available catalog for people that I am. I'm basically I want to get a lot of the songs out that wouldn't suit me as an artist, but anybody who wants to and who is looking for songs can always hit me up. Yeah,
excellent.
My Instagram is Queen Aleena Music.
Okay,
you can DM me there.
Yeah,
it's my I am the person reading all the texts and everything.
Good, excellent. I did notice Hans wrote most of the music, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but he heard you singing and got you involved with one of the tracks because you were humming or something, right?
Yeah, I actually came up with the first
the
Swedish folk song, that melody. I came up with that melody, and then he took it and he made it slower, and I was like, but then it's funny because we are like, me and Hans are like two different. We're so different, but it's like an interesting collaboration. When we do vocal recordings, like I am not as prolific as he is on the rhythm, like because he can write music like mathematically,
right?
You know, I can't. I can only write music on feel. You know, I feel how it should be. 1, 2, 3. But he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Go in. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like it's happened that he's sitting there with his hand trying to count me in to a very complicated rhythm, you know.
Yeah.
And I just like I can't do it, you know. You have to stop. I'm just gonna have to come in wherever I feel. And then he's like, okay, and then it works, you know.
Yeah.
I can't count, you know.
He's been doing it for a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so out of this kind of it's almost like a tug of war between us. But out of this, like, he pushes me to do things I wouldn't do naturally. And he always wants me to do the highest notes that you can sing. And but I love that. It's for me.
Yes.
Kaipa it's like it's an interesting thing for me because I would have never done it myself. And I'm being pushed to do things, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
that's good.
And I listened back to the album and I'm actually really, really proud of it. Like, I'm happy with these songs, and I really hope that people will enjoy them. And we have amazing fans. Kaipa has really, really faithful and beautiful fans, and they always like give me communication and thanks me, and it's really almost an overwhelming love sometimes, you know. So
it's a great following. You have a great following.
Yeah.
Some of the tracks, Seven Birds, which is really cool. That was originally written a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I don't know like how long time ago. Like
I think it was
yeah.
It's in the 90s, the late 90s. It was actually written.
That's right. That's right. I remember now. But what do you think about the a cappella part?
It's excellent. I love it. Oh my gosh.
I came up with that.
You came up with that? That is so cool.
Yeah, it was actually after one of the sessions, I was like, you know what? And I actually have the voice memo, like, because he was walking me to the train, Hans, to do something like this. And then I was like, oh, and I recorded everything. And you know, I was like in this higher, you know, because the thing is, I've never done any drugs, but music gets me to a state of high, you know, and creativeness. So I was like, Hans was like, who is this person? And then we should do this, and then we should do this, you know. And then he just went home and like, he's awesome. He just like, let's do it, you know.
Yeah.
And then we did it.
Kaipa is such a different band too, because like I mentioned before, you could be a rock opera, you can be cinematic, very Disney at times. I you know, I can hear you guys do a Disney soundtrack, especially with your voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I think what I think is so cool about Hans is that he doesn't try to sound like others.
Right.
You know, he doesn't try that at all. He just does what he walks in the forest and he comes up with the melody, and then he like, oh, and then he does it. And he doesn't like, you know, I songwrite commercially for a lot of people, and with a lot of people, we always like, oh, we should do something like this, you know, and then we like get colored by a song, and then we like, oh, use that. But he doesn't do that. He does not. Like, he just, it's like pure nature and pure himself. He wants to be as original as he possibly can.
He is original. You know, usually, you know, most music journalists and critics, they always compare the singers with somebody else. Oh, this sounds like this guy and this guy. But I can't think of anybody that sounds like him. So he's accomplished.
And he's really accomplished. And he's like, he has so much in his own singing. It's so cool that he sings himself on the album, you know, that he does that. He didn't do that from the beginning of when we were like starting out. This is our 10th album together, you know.
Wow.
It's incredible.
A lot of music.
It's like, I'm surprised. Yeah, it's a lot of music. Yeah. I should follow his lead and release some more music myself.
Yes, you're due.
Yeah. I'm very curious to hear what you think about that album I did with Stefan Andersson, the Andersson and Gibson.
If I can find it, you know,
yeah,
like I said,
I think it would be easy for you to do that. It's just Andersson with 2 S.
Is it on YouTube or Spotify? Okay.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
All right.
And we had because the reason is because it's like a little mix of Simon and Garfunkel, but with country vibes.
Good.
So, and Stefan Andersson,
Mm-hmm.
him and we were going to write a song together, and he called me to his place. I came there, and basically we started singing, and he's a very famous singer in Sweden, very
Right.
like folky, folk, people love him.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we started writing, and then he just said, "Oh, we have to do an album together because our voices are like so perfect." And I was like, "Wow, he's right. Our voices blend so well." And then we did a Melodifestivalen, like the Swedish Eurovision Song Contest thing together, 2007,
Okay.
with our song "Anything But You," and so that's live when we were singing there. And anyway, so then it didn't take us very long. We wrote the songs, we got a record deal, boom, boom, boom.
Hmm.
It was like the fastest like ever project.
What year was that?
2007.
Okay, so nothing between both of you since then? No collaboration?
I think he's done it. No, we didn't do any more collaborations.
Really?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, but then he did a whole Swedish thing,
Okay.
and he did a whole like theatrical thing, beautiful, like we have something called Marstrand, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like an island where there was a prison, and there is a famous person from that, and he did a whole musical in Swedish. So
Oh,
so many, and it was like sold out, and so he was very busy with that, and I
right.
was busy with family stuff and
Yeah.
music writing, and yeah.
Yeah. You keep busy with Kappa, definitely.
Kaipa, definitely,
Kaipa,
yes.
yeah. So
We
you've
haven't done
got
any live performances.
yeah, when are you going to do some live performances and promote
Yeah,
this
if
album?
we have, if somebody asks us to do it, we could do it. We
Okay.
could put together. Hans doesn't want to tour, but he doesn't
Really?
have any problem with us touring, me and Patrick, and
Oh,
bringing other musicians. But he doesn't want to tour.
he doesn't want to tour, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a lot of it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but I've always said to Hans, we should just do something, we could do a special show up on some festivals, or, prog music festivals and stuff like that. I would be
Yeah,
willing to do that, or into that, you
sure.
know.
Or a cruise
So
to the
where,
edge.
yeah.
That would be fun on
Yeah.
one of those cruises.
Yeah.
Well, I like your duet on Like Thousand Dawns. That was good.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Loved it. And of course, you got
Thank
Relation View, which has been released
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
The violins as well. I like the violins, and I want to mention your violinist here. His name is it Ellen Rubinstein? Is
Yeah.
that Ellen Rubinstein? Great job on the violins. I love violins in Prague music. Um, it's funny because Relation View, I was a big Game of Thrones fan, and
Yeah.
that
Me
that
too.
song could fit in there.
Yeah.
It was kind of Game of Thrones type music. They're medieval, a little bit
Yeah.
medieval, and I guess that comes from the Swedish folk side as
Yeah.
well.
Very.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great song. Love it. This is an incredible title. Chased by wolves and burned by the sun. Oh my
I know.
God. How cool was
So
that?
good.
What a
That I
title.
know. I was also such a good title. It like really does communicate.
It does. It really
Yeah.
does. I got to read some of the lyrics here, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how great these lyrics. The road to my dreams is a dead-end street, so I'm walking my paths up and down tonight. A starless night, a highway of thoughts occupies my head. An ocean of images rolls around. Chased by wolves and burned by the sun, my lost dreams are still on the run. That is so cool.
That is amazing.
It's like a Moody Blues type thing, the way they, kind of structured their lyrics in a way. Beautiful lyrics. He's very,
Very
poetic.
poetic. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
He has amazing titles and
Hmm.
lyrics, and some of the past albums too. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Spiderweb Train.
Another
Another one.
amazing title. Yeah.
Another amazing title. Far in the distance, a sound from a train rolling into our lives, to our souls, while the dense clouds darken the sky. Welcome aboard the train, the spiderweb train. That is so cool.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Songs in Our Hands. Another beautiful track.
Yeah.
Mm. And then,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hope he doesn't stop, like I hope that he does another album.
Well, he's still a young guy, right? Huh?
Well, he's young, definitely at heart, but I mean, but I think that another 5, 6 albums wouldn't be,
Out of the question.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And of course, the last track, which you've also done the single edit version. You know
Yeah.
that, you know what that song kind of reminds me of in a little bit? You might think I'm crazy. Kind of a James Bond soundtrack song, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Boy, that would
I
make
know
you
what you
guys a
mean.
lot of money if you could get that for the next Bond movie.
I know. That would be awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I love the album. 5 stars.
Thank you so much.
It is incredible. So what's next for you guys? I mean, he's not going to
Well,
tour, but you said you guys can tour. So
yeah, I mean, I've been suggesting this, and if there is a possibility and opportunity for it, then that would be great. And it's not like the biggest like venues or whatever, but who does prog music. But if maybe there is a festival we can be a part of, another band or something, can always do like collaborations.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. How about you? Have you toured solo?
Yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff
Really?
around when I did my albums and when I was in the
Mm-hmm.
Eurovision Song Contest, Melody Festival, like we say in Sweden.
Right.
And also with the Anderson and Gibson, we did some touring. And but then I was so involved in producing other artists and
Really?
albums and writing and for a long time, but it wasn't my basic dream was always to be a singer. And the
Mm-hmm.
only reason I'm writing music is because I love to sing. So
Right.
that's like the drive in me was singing.
Sure.
And then it's just like spread out to, oh, we can write song for me, oh, you should write song for this, so then I got involved in writing for other people a lot.
So what is your process for writing? How do you do this? On the guitar? Do you have a piano? How do you write?
Yeah, both. But guitar is my main instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and because I don't know, it's like I started playing I'm starting to when I realized like I want to sing, I want to be a singer.
Right.
How do I do that? I need songs. Okay, I guess I'm gonna buy a guitar and start playing. And then I bought a guitar and I learned a couple of chords. You know how it is. And then like I started writing music. I knew how I wanted the song to sound, but I had to look for a while to find the chords. And in the beginning, before I knew more, I didn't know that these chords were all established chords. I actually just tried things. And when I got my first record deal, I was like, I came to the studio, the band was there waiting for me, who was going to be my band. And I thought I had to come up with these chords myself. Like, oh, you know what? Look at this. Isn't that sounding great? And they're like, yeah, that's a G my 7 flat. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that it had a name. I thought I came up with it, because I was like so. I was just I wasn't part of like an education in music ever. I just like I just bought the guitar myself. My family is I was grown up in a musical family, you see. But my mom, she was writing songs on the piano, and my dad was performing, and they did shows, and they had a band called the Friday Band, and because they only played on Fridays.
Really?
And then so I like grew up listening to them singing harmonies, and And then basically when I started myself, it wasn't like anybody supported that, or like it wasn't that they were against it either. It was just I don't know, it wasn't like today when it's like, oh yeah, do you want to be a singer? Well, we have all these platforms and you can do this. And then at that, I was also grown up in the country, so it wasn't like you know what I mean. It's like it wasn't like it is now with all the support. I don't know if it's good or bad. The support can be you know, like Idol and X, you know, The Voice and all these things. I think it's great, but it can also be limiting a little bit, you know.
Well, you're a natural. I mean, today they got auto-tune and things like that, which I hate. Come on.
We don't use an auto-tune in Kaipa.
No, exactly. And you know, I've had a lot of people on the show, and when they start singing, you know, without the microphone, and then you really know who's actually good. You know, without all the effects.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm working with great producers, and some of them are extremely good at the autotune, and they're using it. And you know, some singers can't sing that well, but they have a great tone. Like their tone, they have one part of the singing and their voice sound good, but I don't know how to, you know, how are they going to perceive live?
Exactly.
They're going to be, nobody's going to want to listen to it, but sounds good on the record, but can they do it live?
There's nothing better than a lone singer on stage with a story and a guitar. That's it.
I love that.
That beats any rock band.
That's what I love to do. I love that. That's my favorite way of performing. Having a crowd and like just a guitar and sitting on a chair and have this conversation with the audience.
Nothing better.
You know, where the audience is like, especially if they know your songs a little bit. But that's my favorite way. And you get such a great intimate connection with the other people, you know, and it's like a oneness. It's like unbeatable, that feeling. Also for the art, you know.
I agree. Well,
I'll come to Florida. Sing for you. Just the guitar.
Just the guitar. That's it.
Yeah, it was actually my first performance. I fucked up, you know, like my first performance as a solo artist was there was a lot of people laid off in the construction business when I started. And I met this guy who was like a manager, and he was like, oh, I can manage you. Okay, great. And then he got me a gig. And I was so new that I could hardly change chords, you know, without it being it wasn't seamless kind of. And so I had my song, and the one thing I couldn't do, I couldn't like just pick it up and continue in the middle of the song.
Right.
If I lost my way, I had to begin from the beginning, you know?
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, I have this audience and they're all laid off, so they're not in a good mood. And I'm supposed to like cheer them up, you know? And the guy he had gotten this huge sound system that was like, whoa, like echoing, you know? And then I started singing my first song, a Swedish song called Tankar. This was like one of my first songs, and it means thoughts. And then I was like, tankar flyger, kan inte koncentrera mig på, and then I dropped the pick. And then of course it became completely silent. And this silence was so embarrassing because I could feel it. Like they were embarrassed for me, you know? So I picked up the pick and I was like, I'm going to start from the beginning. And then I dropped the pick again. Second time. This is my first performance ever. And then I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm going to start from the beginning. And I dropped it again. Yes, I did. Then I basically, it was so, but I had to come up with a save. I knew, like, because I was just me in the spotlight fucking up and everybody was embarrassed. It's so hard. And this is the first song. So I had a whole set to do in this. So then I picked up the pick and I was thinking, can't do that again. I have to hold on to this pick. And then I said, like, so guys, have you ever been to the circus? And they were like, well, yeah. Like, you know how trapezes, like they do a run and then they fall,
Right.
and everybody goes like, whoa, you know. And that is just to show how difficult it is. So now you know how difficult it is to play the guitar. And then like everybody laughed.
Oh, good.
And it was all forgiven. And I say,
Good save.
okay, I'm going to do another song, you know. And then I took another song, and I never dropped the pick for the rest of that show.
Good save. Good save.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. That's how you
That's
learn.
how you learn. Like you have to be.
You got to screw up to learn.
It is true.
Yeah.
And it just hurts so much to screw up like that. But if you don't dare to screw up, you're not going to get anywhere.
And let me tell you, all the music legends don't know how to read music.
Right.
Even the Beatles didn't know how to read music. They were making up chords like you do.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it was. It sounded good, you know? So
yeah, it's like
it's a natural thing.
Oh, it has a name.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I see some of I'm looking at some of the people that kind of inspired you. Of course, Freddie Mercury, and which is the love of my life, right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest sources of your inspiration. You like the Eagles, Supertramp, 10cc, Whitesnake. You got into the harder rock, AC/DC.
Yeah.
when you kept dropping the pick, I can't even say it right. You needed to go into AC/DC, you know?
Yeah.
Back in Black.
Yeah, I love that song.
I know.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. Yep.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like Black Sabbath and Ozzy? Right?
I know. but then, you know, I started listening to Celine Dion. So
that's
Celine
okay.
Dion, Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson, and all of these. Like, I just love great music. Like,
exactly.
You know,
me too.
Like Led Zeppelin, amazing. I love it. I love to, and there is a song for every mood, you know.
I've got to ask you. You said at one time you were writing a science fiction musical saga. What happened?
Yeah.
Are you still working on it?
You really found out some stuff about it. Yeah. I am, you know, I have 14 songs that are like that belongs to that.
Right.
And I mean, I started writing it, and it actually came from the one song called "I Need a Miracle," and it's like I did it together with this amazing producer who's like a Danish producer, and he was a Danish producer because he passed away, unfortunately. But our chemistry was really interesting because he came from like the Barbie, I'm a Barbie girl,
right?
In that kind of plastic pop, chewing gum pop, or whatever we call it, you know.
Yeah, sure,
bubble gum pop. Yeah. And I was like Sheryl Crow and like that. And then we met and we started working together, and we came up with this techno, hard rock type of musical songs, you know, with opera kind of elements. So I have 14 songs from that period, and I've always been like, okay, I got to get this done. I got to do this. And it's like a whole story. Started writing, and I wrote and I wrote and wrote. But it has to be like translated into English because it's all in Swedish. So, but it's like, it's about a girl, she basically has an accident, and her father is a scientist, and he builds her a new brain, and she's a half robot, half human, and all of that. But it's like, that was so new when I started. Now it's everywhere, you know. And she saves the world with music, basically.
Excellent. Yeah,
that's like the short version.
So it's going to be like kind of a concept album, or like opera type rock.
I actually think that what I could do is I could I could just probably tell the story like a storytelling, like an ebook thing, and play the songs, you know.
Cool.
Just like tell the story and then add the songs and la 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 la, and here's that song. Like I could even do it like, you know, like just a storytelling thing.
Right. Then perform it on stage.
Because I've done that.
Really?
I have done that, but I never video filmed it. But I basically did in South Africa. There was like a group of people, and I just put my computer up and I started telling the story, and then I had a sound system set up and I played the songs, and they were like, we need to hear more. What happens then?
Yeah.
What's next? And then I was like, I have a responsibility here. You can't leave people with an unfinished ending.
Aleena, you got so much talent. I just hope somebody promotes the hell out of you because you deserve it. That's the problem. Much. That's a problem today. You just can't get out there and get the exposure. I know. You get on YouTube, hard. You get on Spotify. I'm on like 20 different streaming sites.
Wow.
But it's still hard. For people to find me. And I'm all over YouTube and things like that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I don't know what else I can do.
Find you.
Yeah.
The thing is that I think that it's like, look, when this is my own thought, it's like when they see how much money that was made, like when somebody like, oh, music is making a lot of money, we're gonna reroute all that money to us.
Right.
And that was the Pirate Bay type of thing. I mean, if you even, Spotify is what we listen to, but unfortunately it's Pirate Bay, commercialized, legalized, and the songwriters and the artists, they don't make it's like very little money from it, very little money from it. Like, I know, like income for a songwriter just like crashed in 2011. It's like, whoa. How am I going to support myself? The money crashed, when the Spotify came and took over, and CD sales just disappeared. And because of course, if you don't have a CD, here is the CD, buy it, there is no product. It's just like, it's like I don't even think that they have fully figured out a good system.
They screwed themselves. Basically. They really did with Napster. When Napster came out, like you said, pirating, people are stealing music like crazy. They got rid of albums,
Exactly. I think also that because people in general, they don't want to commit anything that isn't good for the songwriter, because people like they cherish their artists,
Yes, that's right.
And but the thing is, they didn't know it was illegal even. And I had friends coming up to me and said, oh, I downloaded your album on Pirate Bay and it's so good. And I was like,
it's not even out yet.
Did you pay for it? I can't believe you're even telling me that. Do you? This is like funny to me, like, and some people are just like, well, music should just be free. I'm but do you know how much it costs to make a good album? It's like, it's a lot of money.
I saw the breakdown.
Everybody has to eat.
I saw the breakdown.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The artist gets, it's almost like going bankrupt. There's nothing left. Really, I'm an author, so I feel, I've written, I'm writing my 4th book now, and I see my book advertised on Walmart and this and that, and there's even people that say they have signed copies on eBay. I didn't sign their copies. I don't know what's happening. They're making more money than I am. I'm not making anything.
Well, actually, somebody I saw on eBay, somebody sent me that there was a note from me, and it was from me, handwritten, sold for like $25 or something, some little note. Like, it was like, whoa, somebody's selling my note, my autograph.
I know. Gosh.
So funny.
It's crazy. It really is. It's unbelievable. Ugh.
That's why live music is so important. Yes. And that's where the artist can really take control of his career. And if you think about it, like the records were only made because everybody couldn't come to the concerts, and radio, you wanted to hear the music more often than the radio decided to play it. So you bought a record, but it was the touring that was the actual job of the artist.
The touring in my day, the touring is what sold the record. They'd come to the concert, and they'd buy the album,
Yeah.
And it was cheap. Everything was cheap. The standard price for a rock concert when I went was $650, $550, and $450. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And you saw 3 bands, you see Deep Purple and Jay Giles Band and Peter Frampton for $6.
Oh, Jay Giles Band. That was a long time ago.
I'm old.
Oh, good.
I grew up in the 60s.
So Florida, where in Florida are you based?
On the West Coast, near Tampa.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, next time I come to Florida, because I have artists that I work with in Florida, and
You do? Really?
yes. So
Wow.
then I'll maybe we can do something together.
Okay, that sounds
Because you
great.
play too, right?
I play a little guitar. Yeah.
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 It would be awesome to do something. Maybe we can do performance,
Right. Yeah, that'd be great.
on my new album coming, when my new album is coming out. Maybe I come and radio tour in Florida as well.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
We can do something live.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, I've had legendary rock stars ask, "Come on over, Ray, jam." And no, I don't think so. You're in Deep Purple.
Yeah, and also I can just because we were talking about Kaipa here, and there are some songs that I can do, Kaipa songs that I can do live myself, an acoustic version.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Here's your final question. Okay. I ask everybody this question. I get some really interesting answers. I kind of know where you're going with this, but you may surprise me. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, that's my favorite movie, Field of Dreams, to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Oh, wow. What a good question. And, I would love to work with Brian May, the guitarist from Queen. And I have a feeling that it would be so amazing to write a song with him and explore writing together with Brian May, because he's such an amazing writer himself and the guitar player. That would be the best.
I think him and Freddie Mercury were at odds sometimes. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And that is not, it's not bad, it's not,
right.
It can be hard if you can't handle communication problems, but I think that sometimes you're gonna have, it's just like artists have their opinions and they have their ways, and they're, this is how it has to be, and then the other person is like the opposite. No, this is how it has to be. And the middle thing there can be amazing.
Exactly. That's what happened to the Beatles. Because McCartney and Lennon were the guys, and then George had all his talent, and they blew him off. They basically blew George off, and they weren't going to hear anything but from Ringo. And look what happened to Ringo. He's probably the most successful. He's always touring. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a funny thing, because my own experiences as a songwriter, I was very but I was in the beginning, but then I started to listen. I started to listen to other people, and I was like, wow, that's so good, because you have to listen.
Right. You have to.
To learn. You really do have to.
Yeah.
But what are you actually saying here? And I love people's input. For example, if I have a new song and I play the demo, and somebody's like, yeah, I love the first verse, I don't know if I like the second verse. I'm like, oh, why is that? Like, that makes me interested, because if it doesn't create an effect, what is it that happens, and then I can improve myself and the song by this. So it's not the difference of opinion. It can be a very good catalyst for,
I think so
great music. But Brian May would be a fantastic person to work with.
Good.
And
I'll call him today. I'll hook you up.
Oh, good. Do it. Maybe you have some suggestions too. I'll work with anybody. I actually think that because I love working with amazing people. Of course, another band that I would like to be a singer in it would be Dixie Chicks.
Oh, the Dixie Chicks. Okay.
The Chicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are and Heart.
Yep.
I love them. They are so amazing.
I know all the guys from the original Heart, and
oh yeah.
And I did talk to Anne not that long ago.
Cool. Well, I would love to collaborate with her.
Yeah. And Nancy. Nancy's good too. They're both good.
Yeah. Totally.
Anne's got such a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they who is the main writer there? Like
But actually, both of them. They
both of them,
shared. Yeah. They
they
both
write
write.
together or they write separately and put
When
together?
they're not feuding.
Yeah.
You know, they're sisters. You know how that is.
Yeah.
But Anne does probably most of the writing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She's amazing. She really is. I've been following
Amazing.
Heart. I actually saw Heart when they were at a small club long time ago in Baltimore.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people in small venues.
I love the white skin and
Yeah.
perfume on my wrist
Yeah.
and the full moon that hangs over.
Oh, you're good. You got it. You nailed
These
it.
dreams in the mist.
Yeah.
I
These
love
dreams.
that song.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a beautiful song that Nancy wrote called Not a One. It's on the Dog and Butterfly album. And it never got the attention it should. If you ever look it up.
What's it called? Not the One?
Not a One. NADA 1. Not a One.
Okay.
Look that up on YouTube.
And is it under Nancy or Heart?
It's under Heart.
Okay.
It's from the Dog and Butterfly album. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. They never sing it in concert. And Nancy wrote it. It's a great song. You'll like it.
Not a One.
Not a One.
I will check that out. Thank you so much.
And please get some representation in Nashville. And
Yeah.
I want the people in Nashville to hear that album. I'm serious.
Milk in my coffee.
It's an amazing album, man. I'm telling you.
Like I'm listening to those songs myself and I'm like, wow, it's not that bad. It's funny
great.
with that. Like it's like the lyrics are so they're not like, oh, I'm gonna make this amazing. I was just writing whatever I was thinking at the time, and it is.
But
so, milk in my coffee.
They could be hits. They're commercial. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
They're commercial. They should be seen. They should be heard. They should be all over the radio. I mean, serious. I really believe in that album.
Absolutely sacred.
It's a fantastic album.
Break it now. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna put together some songs for you. I have your email. I'm gonna send you a link to all the new songs, and then
thank you.
Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, when the next album comes out, we're going to talk again as well.
Absolutely,
too, for sure.
Thank
and I hope to see you performing. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, I want to mention the new studio album by Kaipa. Please pronounce it for me.
Sommargryningsljus.
Thank you. It'll be available. It's going to be. Where's the best place to buy it? Is it on your Bandcamp and also Amazon, right?
Yep.
You can also the two singles from that album. You just got Relation View. Relation View's just been released. That's a great song. I do also want to mention your previous album. Is it Urskog? How do you pronounce that?
Urskog.
Boy, it's so hard to pronounce. Oh my gosh. You guys got it down pat.
In English it would be Urskog, right?
Oh, okay, Urskog. Yeah.
Urskog. But it's like Urskog, it means like the very, very old forest, like before human existed.
Right.
Yeah.
That got a lot of good reviews as well, that album. I was noticing. Yeah. And that one's available. And of course, Aleena Gibson, Aleena's Cafe. Please buy this album, everybody. It is so good. And I really mean that. But the best place to buy that, I saw it on Spotify. Where's the best place to get that?
I think
iTunes. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not on Amazon, is it? I didn't see it there.
The CDs, they ran out of the CDs. They didn't print new ones.
They didn't.
I probably have to do it myself.
I know.
Find out if they would be willing to sell me the master.
Well, you know what? Go to Nashville, start selling them in the back of the trunk of your car.
Right. Yeah.
Joan Jett did that.
Yeah.
She did
Yeah,
the same. She did that for I Love Rock and Roll, and then because nobody wanted to sign her anymore. And
that was a huge hit.
exactly,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never know. Well,
yeah,
you can go on your the Kaipa website, which is kaipa.info.
yeah.
Facebook, Bandcamp, Spotify, Instagram. You guys are all there. You have anything else to add?
No, thank you so very, very much to
Hmm.
you, and thanks to everybody who listened for this long. And have a wonderful time. And I hope that you all like the album.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful album, 5 stars all the way. And we hope to see you guys soon. Give my best to the rest of the band as well.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay, Aleena, thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.